Hi, this is today's lesson about further maths and about how you can get the most out of notes. So it's really important that when you're going through these further maths notes that you listen to the presentation, that you make notes of it. If you get stuck, replay it and remember to practice as you go through it. Now here's for today's lesson on using your graphics calculator. Excel in further maths this year. The first thing I'd like you to do is, once you've turned it on, is to hit the home button, which is this one here. And we're going to do a couple of checks before we start going on with the first problem. So the first check I'd like you to do is, can you click on number 5, which is settings, so you can see it here, and we're going to go into document settings, which is number 2. Can you just scroll down and just check a couple of key things? Is your calculation mode needs to either be in auto or approximate. I prefer approximate, but it's up to you. But it shouldn't be on exact, because otherwise you're going to get fractions all the time, which isn't going to be helpful. The other thing that you need to check is, if you go back up the top, is that your angle is in degrees and not radians. If you have to change any of these document settings, can you click on the make default button or tab down to it, or click down to it, so that every time you do a new document, it will document with those settings. Okay, so if you click on that, it just tells you that thing that obviously when you do a new document it will have those settings, which is what we want. So click on OK. I'd like you to do a new document. I think a new document, when you start a new topic, is really helpful because it wipes out all the previous pages of calculations that you may have done. So if you click on new document, then it will start. It may ask you to save the previous document. Now it's up to you. Usually you don't need the previous work, but if you do need to save it, then you click on save your current one. Now I'm going to go into one I have saved, and we're going to put all this data into your graphics calculator, and then I'll show you how we're going to calculate different bits and pieces. So the first thing I'd like you to do is to go to get a page up like this. So you're going to load all this data, is to go Control I, and it will ask you for a new, press the menu for a new page. Now what you want to do when you're loading in data is you want to actually add in lists and spreadsheets. Okay, so if you click on that, then you get a blank document like this. What I'd like you to do is to click up the top here and type in males, and then once you've typed in that, click in females in the second one. So I'm going to go back to my one that's been completed, and I would suggest that you pause this recording so you can load all the data, and then we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so hopefully you've paused the movie and loaded all the data that you can see here on your screen. What we're now going to focus on is, how can we analyze the data that we have? So the first thing that we're going to have a look at is to work out the mean and the median for males and for females, and then what we'll have a look at doing is to draw a box plot for both and actually show it on the same screen so that you can compare the two. So I'm just going to change the screen so you can see what I'm doing. So on your graphics calculator, the way that you can do this, and you can do it one of two ways. You can do it on the screen that you are currently on, or you can also do it on a new page, and I will show you both ways to do it. My preference is to do a new page so it's easier to read, but it is up to you. So the first step is you select menu, and you go into statistics, and you select stat calculations, and we're doing currently one variable statistic, so we're not comparing the two, we're just doing one variable. So select that, and you can select two lists. So we're going to actually calculate the mean and the median and the mode for both males and females at the same time. Okay, so it's asking me, well, where's the data that I need to analyze? So the first one you need to do is, we're going to select males, and then the second list that you're going to select is females. So once you've done that, it will put it in the next free available list. So I'm going to go OK. Okay, so you can see all these things listed here, and I'll just blow it up to make it a little bit easier to read. But Here we have the mean. Here we have the standard deviation is this one here that we use in further maths. And then we have min, Q1, median, Q3, etc., etc. The tricky part with this here on the screen is you need to be able to work out, well, which list is my males and which one is my females. So if you click on the grey box here, can you see down the bottom it gives you the information. Now it says it's doing the one variable statistics for males. So this data list here has all the results for males, and obviously if I click on the next one, it's females, and that comes from the order that you've selected. So we can see very clearly here that the results are quite close, that the median or the center result for males is 22.9 and the median result for females is 22.65. Now this was based on the BMI, so body mass index, from some results from an exam from 2004. So we can also have a look at the minimum values is reasonably similar, and you can see here for maximum though, males is a bit larger than it is for females. Okay, so we can do a bit of a comparison. So there's the key data results. The other thing that you'll be asked to do is to draw a box plot of them. So the quickest way to do that is still in your graphics calculator. If you go Control I, it's going to give you a new page. What I want to do this time, so last time we selected lists and spreadsheets, this time we're going to do add data and statistics. So if you have all these data spots coming up, can I get you to click down the bottom? Okay, and we'll select females first. Okay, so it lines them all up. Then what we need to do is put it in the form of a box plot. Then what we need to do is also add the males ones as well. So the easiest way to do that is you click on menu and you go into plot type for the first one and you select box plot. Okay, so that gives us our results for females, and you can see this down here as well. Okay, but with the problem with our one is we actually want to have males on the same box plot. So if you go into menu again and go into plot properties, which is number 2, if you go on to add X variable, it will let us choose males as well. Okay, so if you select that, can you see now it comes up with both? Okay, and we also have, which is interesting, an outlier for males. So I'll just make that a bit bigger. So we can see the outlier here is 31.4, and with your mouse pad you can actually scroll over to get the values as well. So if you're asked in a question to draw a box plot, I think the quickest way, because it won't be the only thing that you'll be asked, is to actually put the data into your graphics calculator and then get it to plot on your graphics calculator, and then you can draw a sketch of it in your book. So hopefully that was helpful for you. Remember, the key things I think from this lesson are to do a new page, you go Control I, and that we looked at then doing analyzing the results by selecting the menu and going into statistics and stat calculations for one variable statistics, and the other thing that we looked at was drawing a box plot. So I hope that is helpful, and good luck with your studies.